Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about / introducing the force sensor to you. Now some of you may be familiar with the touch sensor from Mindstorms before, and this is essentially the same thing but on steroids. It is way better. So if you are familiar with the touch sensor from Mindstorm, it was blanket on or off, binary, right? It was very black and white. This sensor can operate like that, but it also has a lot more capabilities integrated into it. So the way this force sensor works is when you apply, force to this portion of the sensor, there's actually like a spring and a potentiometer inside that reads how much force is being applied. So you can say if it's being pressed, if it's being released, if it's being hard pressed, and you can kind of sort of get a reading of how much force is being applied to the sensor. So it's really cool. So in this software, right, and I'm not going to show you how to really use it in this video, that'll be the next one, but just a quick overview. If you go to like the light blue blocks on the side here, this is where you can get all of the blocks related to the sensor. And you're going to notice a couple of things about them. So first of all is the shape of some of them, right? So one block specifically for the force sensor, because if you see, this looks like the color sensor, this looks like the force, this is distance, and this is going to be related to like the gyro, which we'll go over later, right? So there's two different shapes which matters. So we'll get into that when we actually start talking about actually utilizing these blocks, but just as an intro, and we're going to worry specifically about this block for now, right? So for now, you can choose what port you have your force sensor plugged into. I'm going to keep it as A just by default. And then this drop-down arrow gives us a lot of options we have, right? So we can get a reading for if the touch sensor is pressed. If it's hard pressed, meaning it's actually significantly pressed in and a certain threshold of newtons are being applied. And then release, right? So pressed would be more like essentially tapped in any sort of way. Any pressure at all is added. Hard pressed would be a certain threshold, and then release would be the sensor is already pressed in, and then it is released, and then something will happen, right? So this is just a quick little intro about what the force sensor is and the options that it has, so you can interact with it being just tapped or pressed, hard pressed, or released. And in the next video, I'll be talking about how to utilize the force sensor in your code. All right, good luck.